Okay, so let's talk about MSTR stock, Mara stock, and Bitcoin, all three of them in this video. So it might be a little bit more of a lengthy video, but I want to talk about all three of these at once to better get ready for this trading week that we have starting tomorrow, Monday. So remember guys, everything I say in this video is just my own opinion. I like to share with you guys what I'm seeing on the charts. So please do your own due diligence and your own research before taking any trades. So we all know, right? Q4 tends to be quite a positive month, at least on average, right? I mean, October averaging almost 22% in the positive. Um, it's just something to keep an eye on, but it's not really something to completely go off of unless the chart sets us up for it. And right now I do believe the chart is setting us up for a good start of Q4, which I'm going to get to in a moment. And then when we come to the liquidation heat maps, we've been keeping track of the 106.8 to 107k level, and it has been weakening. It's still valid. We see a lot of liquidation potential there, but it is weakening. Could be some short-term profit taking from the recent rally we just saw today. But it's just to keep an eye on this. Even though it's fading, it could come back. But the idea is that we still see strong potential support there. And that also falls in line perfectly with the short-term discounted or short-term deep value area that I've been talking about for quite some time. So before we jump into Mara stock and MSTR, I am going to break down Bitcoin. What I am looking at will make the most sense to me. So then when we jump into those two stocks, it will make a lot more sense what I'm saying there once you understand this. So for quite a while, I mean, we've been keeping track of the uptrend. We had a really good opportunity to accumulate. We had some profit taking, which I talked about during that time. But what matters right now is the current structure. So really, this started back over here on the 14th of July this year, and we've been seeing somewhat of a downtrend forming, trying to most likely just factor in a correction for this recent very aggressive pump we had. So I'm still keeping an eye on 128k as the next target area, but we got to complete this first. So this is how here's how I'm approaching this, right? So I gave some short-term, like back here, I gave some, my opinions that even though we come down and we have a potential support within this area, simple retracement, it will most likely break. Just again, due to, we hit resistance very well, 118k, but we understand that, we were anticipating an announcement of a potential rate cut, and it was most likely factored into the price, and I made that very clear. We came down, and then, at that point, not being able to break that swing high all the way up there, it was most likely we will try to attempt lower prices and maybe fall into this actual, potential low for this downtrend. So what we have right now is the price still as you can see, it's making lower lows and lower highs, but on top of that, even with the current rally we had, we still need further, confirmation that an uptrend is potentially forming. And this can be very simply due to, seeing higher highs and higher lows forming on the short term, and seeing if we can create any extension areas within it to potentially push the price up higher. But we still need to keep an eye on a few things here. So first one, and this one isn't as significant as, for example, what I'm going to show you guys in a moment. But even with this last dip, we have a simple resistance right here, right? This is overlapping very nicely with descending resistance line I have there in white for you guys to see, very easily noticeable from the swing highs coming down. We haven't broken over that. As we get near it, the RSI is quite overextended to the premium. Now we're above the 120 moving average. We're trying to hold it, but as you can see, we are within a simple retracement resistance line. It's from 110.5k to basically 112k. So we can find resistance here at any point, but in order for this to be more significant, we're gonna keep an eye on a potential support area, which is simple. The lowest price from this dip up to the current high of this small rally. If we can hold a higher low here, we have the potential of, attempting to max out this resistance area a bit more. And then from there, we'll just follow the price higher with this retracement, and then, attempt to hold it as support and go up higher and break the swing high. But this isn't something I'm too worried about right now. If we get that confirmation, I will, let you guys know what I'm looking at after that. But it's very, very similar to back here, right? I kept telling you guys, like, okay, we're in a really nice support area. This was our within this red and blue area, we have strong support. I wouldn't be surprised if we form a bottom there. And then we were keeping it. This is very, very similar to what I'm looking at here. So the idea is the same. Once we actually get bullish confirmation, I'll let you guys know. And then once we do, I'll give you guys like a nice target area for how high the price can go. Last time we did this, very nicely filled. I mean, we've captured them quite a bit during this bull market. But right now, right, until we have that bullish confirmation, the idea is that we can hold resistance, respect it, allow the price to come down lower, breaking past support, and then just having that, just one more dip so we can hit short-term deep value. And then from there, I personally will be, aggressively accumulating longs on Bitcoin with the idea of the price having a decent rally. So, and then a second layer of this. So we have, from all-time high, which is currently the overall swing high, all the way down to this low down here. I would reuse this, but I'm going to leave that there for notes. Basically, even if we hold support and make a new high within this small structure to the upside that's forming, potentially, we still have really strong resistance within this area. And I would anticipate that as we begin to push higher, there could be a lot of liquidation heat map indicators showing strong resistance within this, this area as well. So I'm going to leave this here for now, just because, and I'll color code it later on. But this is a very important area to look at, not just the short-term resistance, but this. Until we have that bullish confirmation, I mean, as of right now, we can keep respecting the descending resistance, and it could potentially bring us down into this area where we can start trying to form an actual bottom. We couldn't max out this area entirely, but so far with the extension that I gave you, this one that I gave you guys a few videos ago, that's the idea. So now, currently, the view is lower prices. I mean, if we were already getting ready to push up higher, at least have, we would have bullish confirmation by now, holding this higher low. So this higher low in red, or support area would be, swing, the retracement from this one, this swing low down here up to the swing high, and it would just hold a higher low there at a proper retracement and go up higher. But I wasn't anticipating that, just because of, we couldn't even hit these value gaps up here as resistance. This would have made it a lot more likely for a higher low to form. But it can definitely happen right now. I mean, the bottom could be in, but we're still in a downtrend. We don't have bullish confirmation. All we have seen so far is a rally up into short-term resistance, and that's all it is. But if we get that bullish confirmation, I'll let you guys know. Now, any weakness from here, and for example, let's jump into Mars stock now. Any weakness, and I've said this many times before, it tends to amplify weakness in Mara stock. It tends to, last time I said this, or it was back here, like we hit resistance. I mean, we had a nice accumulation area. That's where I like to use red as accumulation area. We had a chance to accumulate within this price range. I gave you guys this take profit extension ahead of time. We hit it nicely before coming down into this next accumulation area, and then short-term TP being the value gap overlapping with the retracement, so $18 to $19, and that held very nicely. Right now, at least in my opinion, so if you guys consider this, just consider this, the price is below what would have been a proper higher low. So there is definitely a lot of weakness in this stock, right? We're below what would have been a proper support area. We have a lot of value back here. This is where, this range right here, there's a lot of value. We just entered it. We can easily fill the bottom area right here. We've been using this previously for really nice short-term trading, longs and shorts. With TP aggressively just being limit orders at the support and resistance lines, depending if you're taking a long or short. But we had plenty of those opportunities. We broke below the actual proper support area. So in my opinion, the overall view right now in the short term is just lower prices. Lower prices coming back down into the low 15s, high 14s, potentially even hitting 1450. We've seen that before. But right now, right, like that's all that matters. If we couldn't hold the support, which was most probable, I mean, I said that ahead of time, and we had some short-term trade opportunities, respecting the ascending resistance, which used to be a ascending support area. We've talked about this many times before. So if I can zoom in here, so now, right, the next area to find support, I gave you guys this ahead of time, and we're holding it as support. So that's just for some consolidation. So right now, there's two ways this can unfold for us to go down back here into this range right here. Basically, that's we go directly to it now. Like this, beginning of this week, we can either go directly down into it. We'll just have to have patience to then look at some short-term long opportunities as they present themselves. I'll let you guys know. But back down into this, we can either go directly or we can do something that can provide. And this is what I'm doing. If we have the opportunity where Mara does rally a little bit, if Bitcoin holds premium, short-term premium, according to the RSI on the hourly chart, and that it doesn't. Remember, Mara stock and MSTR do not really correlate Bitcoin. They're just influenced by Bitcoin, but not completely correlate. If that was the case, these two stocks would be trading completely differently. But we either go directly down, we'll have patience, go directly down, and then we can look at some potential trades. But the other way would be we actually see a little bit of a pump, and that can just be a pump. So this is in blue, a retracement resistance from the swing high, with the wick swing high all the way down to the swing low. And this overlaps very nicely with a value gap right here in the green rectangle. So basically, like 1720 to 1750. Excuse me. So the idea here is that if we can just go straight down to start looking at some trades at these lower prices, roughly from the Friday's close, like if we can see like a 7 to 8% or even 8 to 9% dip from here, the idea would be that we can potentially go up to fill this value gap. It will be a simple correction within this downtrend, to look at short opportunities here, right? The in my opinion, even if Bitcoin continues to rally, the possibility of Mara stock being as influenced as that to just keep it going higher and potentially even going back above $19 isn't that high. But that's where SLs come into place, right? If that was the case, SLs, they're available to you for a reason. So my view is that if we can just see the corrective move, I would like to take a short within this area, and TP will be simply, back down here at these discounted levels, anywhere really conservatively from 15 to like 1530 would be a conservative area, at least for me. But yeah, that's the idea, right? If you either go straight down, I'll let you guys know what long opportunities we have there. But if we can have that corrective move before going down lower into this area, so it'll be from 17 to 18. If we can go up into this area, I'll be looking at shorts. TP will be super tight. I mean, I won't be shorting this with a whole lot. It will just be to gain some short-term exposure to shorts, with the possibility, or just the likelihood, in my opinion, being more likely that we will just see continuation of a weakness in price, regardless of what Bitcoin does in Mara stock, right? So that's my view. Now with MSTR, I'm still seeing some weakness. So I gave you guys, we analyzed this, like I think it was earlier this week or last week. Um, we were, we traded with, and I explained this in quite a bit of detail on my previous MSTR video. So if you guys look back, like within 8 days ago or something like that, there's another MSTR video. I explained this in a lot more detail of how I got these areas, the bearish extension, potential support with this blue area, and how I made sense of this. I explained it all there. So if you guys want to get more context on this, just go back to that video. But right now, basically with MSTR, I still see weakness. I mean, we are in a downtrend. If Bitcoin continues to rally, just like in Mars stock, right? We can see. So I'm not really gonna leave this on here, but I'll bring it back in a future video when it's relevant. Or actually, I'll leave it just because it's already a different color. It's easier to notice. So it's quite simple, right? So the 120 moving average, we're in a downtrend, right? We're in this downtrend. The 120 moving average aligns really nicely with this retracement resistance from this swing high to this swing low. This is short term stuff. I'm not really gonna, you could go from this high all the way down to the low. That'll be a resistance area if this one actually, if the price breaks above this. But then if you were to consider the 120 moving average being within the resistance and this value gap right here, it's very easily noticeable. So I'm not really gonna draw anything on here. But we have 3 levels of resistance: short-term retracement, 120 moving average being within the retracement, and the value gap being also within the retracement. Just these tend to hold so nicely. I mean, we use these so much in these videos, and they've always worked out usually really nicely. So it's the same thing, right? If we're in a downtrend, there's no reason to be aggressive about it. You can even consider a descending resistance, and it aligns not perfectly, but it still gives us a really good idea that even with the current momentum, we have a 4th level of resistance now within this area. So in order for this to actually, be invalidated, we can look at higher prices, potentially like 380 roughly, based on a bigger picture retracement I just explained a moment ago. It doesn't matter if we find resistance here. The idea is positioning ourselves to be ready. Let's say it goes all the way up to 230, right? It goes up into its resistance, and we hold that higher low potential support, and we actually break the short-term swing high, and if we hold that support and break it, it can lead us quite directly, like it can build up enough bullish momentum to even break this swing high right here, in my opinion. So it's just something, because again, if we do that, it will break over 333, and that's it. That's where the retracement, that's where my fibs are telling me. So we can easily fill this gap and actually test this swing high quite easily. But just like in Mars stock and just like in Bitcoin, like, it doesn't matter. The idea is that there's weakness in this area with the possibility of it still holding higher low. But just because we are in a downtrend, I am still looking for this red area to fill, and I explained this in a previous video how I got it. But $265, like, we can still fill this area a bit more. So there's just no reason to be like overly optimistic on actually holding a higher low. If we do, then that's where you can position yourself to focus on positionizing. You can even use a swing low right here as an SL. And then if we, this is just an estimate too, but like let's just say we do top out at that price I mentioned a moment ago, 330, and we actually hold support roughly 339, 310. We have the, as you can see, with just those estimates, there's possibility of retesting the swing high very, very easily and just filling that gap to the upside. So that's just what I'm looking at right now. I'm not leaning towards this too much because we need further evidence to actually see if we're going to hold a higher low. So as of right now, there's, the price can either come down and just fill the rest of this area quite well. If we do, I'll, make a new update for you guys. But the idea is that, the price can still go up a bit more to try to reach the 120 moving average, reach all of these resistance areas I mentioned a moment ago. And then, that's where you can't fall into FOMO. You have to focus on your position sizing and what the chart's telling us. So if we go up into this area and you FOMO in, well, there's a lot of resistance here. So it's like, you know, it's just understanding that we're still in this downtrend and we just need some bullish confirmation to break out of it. But until we get that, the idea is lower prices, regardless if it happens now or if we reach this actual resistance area and then come down. So yeah, that's really what I'm looking for. I'm more interested in the potential shorting opportunity in Mars stock. I mean, even if we go even briefly into this blue area soon, like I'm probably just gonna be looking at shorts, and I'm not even gonna put. I'll probably be buying some puts, but not. I'm not gonna be like going aggressive into it or anything, because I really want to do a lot of aggressive shorting on like Bitcoin, probably MSTR and Mara stock later on when we finally actually finish this bull market. But until then, the idea is that October's coming up. We can easily see a lot. The low could be in. The price is trying to pump higher. We're still within resistance. It can go all the way up to 112k. And then the bigger, even if we go up a bit more, if we don't break over 118k, we can still see like a bigger picture sideways consolidation, or we can just see the price actually come down eventually and fill this area. So there's more to look at. There's more stuff we're waiting on. I know with the recent jobless claims, it spooked some investors. I mean, we saw that happen. It's just looking at short-term resistances, waiting for bullish confirmation. Until we get that, the idea is to expect lower prices, and it's as simple as that, right? I'm not going to position myself in a hopeful trade when the chart is telling me, focus on position sizing, because the downtrend, we're still in this downtrend in the short term, and we're still in a downtrend in this bigger picture. We couldn't hold this support area, which was expected. So there's just no reason to be, again, just don't force trades. The chart will tell us what to do. So it went up a little bit. I'm just going to be following the price with this area. And if we come down, I'll be looking at the RSI and how that is influenced by the price within this area. And I'll keep following it. And then again, in Mars stock, I'm very, very interested in seeing if I get a decent short opportunity in the short term right here, and for the price to come down into this area. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.